Hello friends, Father Charles with Sola Lucium. I want to talk to you a little bit about how it is you can be a faithful person. I was camping with a friend of mine several weeks ago and we had a discussion and he said, I don't think I would even know really how or where to start if I wanted to be a really faithful person, if I wanted to be just kind of best friends with Jesus. We're going to, over the next couple of weeks, talk about Daniel from the Old Testament, who provides a pretty good model of how to kind of develop that friendship with God. Now, it's a book worth reading. It'll take you about 30 minutes or so, give or take, to read it. Now, the first thing Daniel does so much better than anyone else is that he remains faithful in the face of pressure. So you've got the king's men who are trying to trip Daniel up. And they try to devise a scheme to get Daniel to have to worship another god. And they could say, your God isn't real. Or two, for the king to have to punish Daniel. They're very shrewd in how they design this. And the king passes a law that the king, for some reason, doesn't have the freedom to get rid of. Daniel refuses to comply because he's not going to cheat on Jesus, not going to cheat on God. And so the king has to punish Daniel. But Daniel stays faithful. In all things, Daniel refuses to bend to the social pressures of the day. He is just so rooted in God that no matter what, he is not going to change. He believes in God, and that's good enough for him. He trusts in God, and that is good enough for him. Now, not to bury the lead too much, but towards the end of the story, Daniel gets locked up into the lion's den. The king, assuming Daniel was going to die from this, and the other men certainly do too, but the Lord shuts up the jaws of the lion and saves Daniel. Now, the first time that you try to be faithful in the midst of an unfaithful world, the first time that you try to take a stand against something that you know is wrong, the first time is always the hardest. But if you can push through that, if you can pray through that and lean into that, know that God is there to love and to protect you just as he protected Daniel. Jesus loves you so much that he literally came and went to hell and back on the cross for you so that you can become friends with him. Trust that he who has brought you thus far will bring you all the way home to heaven with him, if you will but keep the faith. Always stand firm. Never give up. Next week, we're going to look at Daniel chapter 2 and the interpretation of dreams. Specifically, who is it that Daniel points to in his successes? Stay salty.